Here are 10 tips for managing employees. What's up, y'all? I'm AJ Simmons. Today, I'm going to talk about 10 tips for managing employees. Why? Because I'm a CEO and I have about 17 employees right now. And I've been doing business since I was 19. I'm 32 now. So, got pretty good experience in it. So, I figured I should speak about it because I teach people how to start and grow cleaning companies. And one of the problems that come up often, and probably the hardest struggle in business, period, is managing employees. So today I'm gonna give you 10 tips. I took some notes here and I'm gonna go over it with you guys. So the first tip is number one, to keep at least 1 year's worth of employee salary in the bank at all times. Now I know first of all what you're probably thinking is, how in the world am I supposed to get 1 year worth? Okay. Well, first let me tell you, this is an idea that I got from, it was either Bill Gates or Steve Jobs. Unfortunately, I cannot remember where I heard it from, but it was a video I heard on the internet. I'm always listening to and studying entrepreneurs, and so I can't remember exactly which one of them said it, but I know it was either Steve Jobs or Bill Gates said that they always had the dream of having at least 1 year's worth of employee salary. That way, if anything went wrong, they wouldn't have to lay everybody off. So, and that's something I kind of learned the hard way. So now that's one of my new rules. And my first rule is keep that money in the bank, okay? Because if you're going to hire people, they want to know that they're secure and that they're safe under you and your company, okay? So make sure that you keep at least 1 year's worth of employee salary in the bank at all times, okay? Now, how do you get that? Well, you might not start off with it in the beginning, but just take less profit for yourself, okay? Stack as much money, as much revenue comes in the bank, try to stack as much of that as possible until you get to that point, okay? It might take you a while, but do that, okay? So that's tip number one. Keep that money in the bank. Make sure them people get paid, all right? Tip number two, don't be a boss, okay? Don't be a boss. And so what I mean by that is, yes, you're a boss, but don't be a boss. Like, don't be that traditional old school bossy type, always demanding people what to do. You know what I mean? People want to work with essentially their peers, right? They want to work with somebody that, and keyword, notice that I'm saying people want to work with, not work for, because that's that old school boss mentality, okay? So treat your people as if they work with you versus working for you. And only treat them like they work for you when they give you a reason to treat them as such, okay? So treat people the way that you would want to be treated as an employee, okay? Don't use that old school boss mentality where the first time somebody messes up, you're fired, or the first time somebody makes a mistake, you're fired, or the first time, you know what I mean? So just don't have that old school I'm the boss mentality, okay? That's tip number two. Tip number three, allow freedom, okay? Allow people to express themselves. Allow people to feel empowered, okay? They want to feel like they're part of a culture and a part of a team, okay? And if you're running your business right, they will be part of a culture and a part of a team, okay? So allow them to express themselves, okay? You might have a process with your business that's outdated, okay? You might have something that can be changed or needs to be changed or could be improved, and the only person that can catch it is a brand new person to the team because they got a fresh view of it, okay? So be open to new ideas. Yes, you may not adopt any of the new philosophies because a lot of the processes that you probably already have in place with your company probably have good reason, right? But every now and then, a new person can come along and offer you a brand new solution that you never thought of. I'll give you an example. I had an employee, I told him pretty much most of what he knew in the cleaning industry as far as quality goes, but he had an idea. We had a trash can, and it had an apron on it, right? And so on that apron, it was one little pocket at the very bottom. And what this guy would do is put a roll of trash cans at the bottom in that little pocket, run like a trash bag, like pull the trash bag out of the roll and run it up through the little handle of the pulling trash can, run it through the handle. So that way, whenever he wanted to get a new trash bag to put in a trash can, he just rip it all through the handle and the bags were always hanging over. So that way he didn't have to reach out and pull out the bags, or he didn't have to, it was very convenient. So that was a new process that he offered. It was simple, but it was effective, okay? So be open, all right? Be open and let people have the freedom, okay? So that's tip number three. Tip number four, communicate openly, okay? Now, what I mean by communicate openly is, number one, be transparent with your people. Nobody likes to be or feel like they've been lied to or deceived. You know what I mean? So be open with your people, number one. And number two, don't, go run and tell Bob one thing about Sally that you wouldn't tell Sally to her face, okay? Because you're the boss. You can't get involved with the chitter chat that goes on. You know what I mean? And if you have a good culture, hopefully there's not too much chitter chat at all. But obviously, as you get bigger and as you expand, you won't be able to micromanage every little thing that goes on. But definitely try not to participate at all. Don't say anything to this person over here that you wouldn't say to that person over there. Okay, try to be as open with communication as possible. All right, so that's tip number 4. Tip number 5: say thank you. Okay, you'd be surprised how far a simple thank you goes with employees. I know as an employee, when I was working for other people, when somebody told me thank you after I put in a hard day's work, or after I went in, we had a tough project and I really had to push, and then they look me dead in the eye and just simply say thank you, I appreciate you, AJ. You know what I mean? That takes you a long ways. Okay, so make sure you're always thanking people. Every single time I talk to an employee, especially one-on-one in particular, after the conversation is over, I don't care what we were talking about, I still say thank you at the end. Okay, even today I will look at the end of every shift, whenever I can kind of catch my people at the end, I say thank you for another day, I appreciate your efforts. Okay, thank you. Just thank your people. All right, it goes a long way. You'd be surprised sometimes thank you can touch somebody more than an actual raise can. Okay, because a lot of times money isn't even the issue when people quit jobs. Okay, it's simply because they don't feel appreciated. So thank your people. All right. Tip number 7: ask, don't tell. Okay, so ask your people if you need a task done. Ask them, can they do it? Don't just demand that they do it. Okay, don't tell people. You'll be surprised at how far it goes when you know how to communicate. Okay, because how you say things versus what you say, that makes a word of a difference. Okay, on how you say it. So ask people, because you know why you should ask them, because they have a choice. Okay, don't treat people as if they don't have a choice, because they do. Okay, especially in these days and times. Okay, people have way more options. People have multiple sources of income now. Okay, so make sure that you're treating them like they actually have options. Ask them, can they complete a task? Don't tell them that they complete a task. Okay, and going back to the last point, once you ask them and they complete it, thank them. Okay, simple. Just treat people with respect. Tip number 8: give public praise. Okay, so if somebody does an excellent job at your company, don't be afraid to single them out and acknowledge them in front of the rest of their peers. Okay, you know why? Because not only does it promote a little friendly competition, but it makes that person that went above and beyond feel appreciated, and it'll make them want to do it again. Okay, to the point where that overachieving actually becomes the norm, and now they're just achieving instead of overachieving because they set the new bar. And you know what else? Now everybody else wants to get that next praise too. Now you don't want to overdo this, because then you can create jealousy, you can create conflict where people feel like you're showing favoritism. Okay, so make sure you manage this tip wisely, and pick and choose when you use this, but definitely use it. It's very effective, and it takes me to my next point, which is tip number 9. Okay, so tip number 9 is have meetings. Okay, but have effective meetings. Okay, don't just have meetings every week or every day. Even you don't have to have a meeting so often, and you don't have to have pointless meetings. Okay, but have meetings and have them when they make sense. Okay, and when you have these meetings, number 1, that's where you can give the praise. Okay, while everybody's around, that's number 1. Number 2, maybe you might share where the company stands. Okay, because when you share like financial numbers, I remember I used to work at Walmart as a sales associate, as well as stocking in the back and all these things, right? And one thing that Walmart does, I believe, is once a month. Okay, they have meetings once a month, and they will share their financials from the store. Okay, what they did last quarter. Okay, what they doing for the year, what the goals for each department is, and it makes each department work that much harder to strive for those goals, those financial goals. So it's like, even though these people may not be business and executive level people, but they still feel vested in the company because the numbers are being shared with them. Okay, so don't be afraid to share the numbers. Okay, inside those meetings. All right, and be open with them. Again, going back to my last point, be open with these people. Okay, and just have meetings. Okay, and effective meetings. Share what happened, who complained this month. If you have a cleaning company, who complained at the cleaning business. Okay, which customer complained, or which customer gave you a praise. Okay, make sure you shout those people out of who got the compliments from a customer this month. All right, So just share things with your people and give them something to feel motivated about. Provide them with new shirts, okay? Nobody wants to wear the same old, ugly, dirty shirt to work every day. Provide them with new shirts, newer equipment, okay? All of these things. Allow your people to voice their opinions and be heard in these meetings, but don't make it a gripe session, okay? Make sure that it's always positive and make sure you always leave off on a good note. Tip number 10, hire referrals, okay? Let me tell you why you should hire referrals. Number one, if you have a good worker, that is a sign of their character, okay? Typically, you don't create good workers 9 times out of 10. They are just themselves, okay? It's a character thing, okay? And high character individuals typically hang around other high character individuals. So maybe they might know a friend or a family member who's also looking for work that would love to work at the company. So hire referrals definitely at that point. Then also it'll help create a culture for your company, okay? Because now it feels more like family when I and my cousin work at the same company and the company's treating us well and paying us well as well. So definitely hire referrals at all costs, because probably the best way to find good talent anyway, just to hire people through the people who already work for you, okay? Versus going out and trying to find strangers and interview 20 people just to get that one good person, okay? So definitely hire referrals. Now I got to give you a bonus tip, okay? The bonus tip is this. This is something that I did. It's very creative in my opinion, okay? But it's completely different than the norm. And so you may do this or you may do a deviation of it. But my thing is this. I pay the max that I can pay from the beginning. I don't give out raises at all, okay? So I don't give out raises. I don't step increase you and try to make you work up. No, I pay you the absolute max that I can pay you, period. If I'm able to pay you more later because we increased our prices or for whatever reason, maybe the customer added on some things, I'll pay you more at that point. But I always try to max out the pay from the beginning, because that way you're already getting paid well from the very beginning, which now when you get that new job and they're paying you well, from day one, you want to keep that job because you're making good money, number one. Number two, it makes people feel valued, okay? When they know that they're getting the max amount of money in that industry, because people know the industry norms for payments, you know, for wherever they work at, okay? So if they know that they're getting paid more than their peers in that particular industry, that's motivation, okay? Why do you think that Chick-fil-A workers are much more courteous and have better customer service than, let's just say, McDonald's workers, okay? It's because they get paid more. And that's just not the only reason, but that's one of the main reasons, okay? Money is definitely a motivator. Why do we go to work, okay? Because we got bills to pay, because we have financial means that need to be met, okay? And so your job is there for that, okay? So if their job is there to provide them with the financial means, why not make sure that they have good financial means, okay? Why not pay them the best you can pay them? And that's just my opinion, okay? Now, some people might say, well, that won't motivate you to have people there long term. Well, I've had people that stay with me for years and years and years at a time. It's a strategy that seemed to work for me. And on top of that, I've also given out bonuses. I give out paid time off. So they still have incentives financially that come later in addition to the max pay. But it's just something that, too, like I remember when I worked at Farm Fresh in my very early days. And I worked there for 6 months. And they told me after 6 months, I would get a 75-cent raise. And when I got the 75% raise, I'm like, wait a minute. It seemed like they just took it out with my taxes. Like, I don't even see the difference. You know what I mean? So it's like, it really does not make a difference. Even if they would have gave me a $3 raise, I'm not sure how much of a difference that would have made. So it's like, why not just pay the max instead of, nickel and diming people and trying to get them some small reward to jump for, okay? Because think about it. Would you jump for an extra $2 an hour? Probably not as an entrepreneur, okay? Because it's not that much, okay? It's not that much of a difference, okay? So I say, why not just give people the max? And even if you don't give people the max, I would definitely do my best to pay people more, okay, than what the industry standard is, just to help keep them motivated and coming back, all right? So those are my tips for being a good boss, okay, and managing employees. Hopefully this video was able to help. And if you want more help with your cleaning company, check out www.cleanbiznetwork.com. We can help you start your own cleaning company. Or if you already have one, we can help you grow your cleaning company as well. So make sure you check us out, www.cleanbiznetwork.com. I'm AJ Simmons, and I will talk to y'all soon. Thank you.